Rahubat Yasar. I am at Yiba Atumre, and today we are going to be doing some extrasensory perception exercises to help get us in tune with our intuitive selves, that little small voice that sometimes whispers, or we hear a lot of chatter and they're all our ancestors, the 4 generations. Ask them to tone it down a little bit, speak in one utterance or tone, so you can hear your own Natar Amun or Natar Tet Amun Tet self. These are the cards that I use to help me with my intuitive abilities, keep my third eye open, more so to assist me with trusting my intuitive self or my subconscious self. So there are 4 symbols and 1 sign. You have 25 opportunities to listen to your hidden self. I am going to write these down. Get a piece of paper and a pen or pencil. Number it from 1 to 25. We will do this twice. And we'll see just how many of them you intuitively get correct. These cards can be ordered. They're not tarot cards. They're simply cards to help you with your intuitive abilities. We need to open up our third eyes. I know the master teacher also has an exercise for us to do that very same thing. It's on a green card. I don't have it readily available. And it looks like a doorway, and it goes, it's a square, and it keeps going square, 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 like you're going through a hallway or tunnel, and it's green and black. Green background, black square in a square in a square, continuously until it gets to where it can no longer continue. And that too can be used to open up our third eye for intuitive abilities and help us to realign ourselves with the voices of the Nataru, Wusalafu, so on and so forth, and our own self, our best friend, our true soul mate, which is ourself. No, I don't believe in soulmates outside of the soul that we already have. There may be twin flames. The duad, we will recognize each other since we have been split apart. So I'm going to shuffle these cards. When I hold them up, they look like this. But when I hold it up, I'm going to hold it on the back side. And I want you to take a moment and listen to your higher self, your Amun self, your Amun Tet self, and draw the symbol or write it out what you think it is. These are waves, okay? You have waves, you have a star, you have a circle, a square, and a plus sign, okay? And like I said, we're going to do it twice. We will do it slow the first time. You may do really, really well with this. If you get like 9, 10, 11, then your eyes open and it can be opened further. When I'm, of course, doing my intuitive exercises, I always like to burn a particular incense. Today I'm burning frankincense and myrrh. Rahubat Zaman Nasure Ye At. So I'm shuffling these up really well. All right, are we ready? Don't talk. I may do some talking. I will do my best not to be disruptive. I'm going to hold up a card, and I need you to write down on your paper, number 1. Remember, it's 25. What you think it is. After a minute, I will show it to you, And at the end, you will simply put a check mark by all the ones you got right and a minus. Or this is not like a right and a wrong in that sense. It's just, you know, where you might have heard yourself say, but then you second guessed yourself or you doubted yourself and you said something else, and then it's like, oh man, I do that a lot in my with my test that I take for school, and I'm like, so no, it's not about being perfect and perfection. So this is not what that is about either. um, this is simply about opening up our third eye, getting more in tune and in alignment with ourselves and with our higher selves, with the left and right hemispheres of our brain, our mind. Okay, are we ready? Let's take a deep breath and center ourselves. In the background, you will hear the old tones of the Nataru, and then you will hear potentially the voice of Panabap Yanenen. Okay, let's begin. And do know, some days I do very well with them, getting anywhere between 10 or 11 and higher, correct. And then some days I get 0. Because I'm not listening or I'm preoccupied or whatever the case may be. Just so you know that I don't always get them all correct either. However, the instruction states that if you get at least 9 and above correct, then definitely you are a potential intuitive being. We all are anyway. I have been doing these things for a very long time. If you watch or listen to the interview that Brother Nasir did with me on WNT9, you know that I come from many paths. And by the time that I heard the voice of Wunuwap calling me, I had been introduced to Baba many years ago. I did not know who he was when we encountered each other. However, I soon came to know who he is, and that is how I came by my name when he named me through the ethereals. We communicated that way. He wants us to know that our knowing is alive. All we have to do is trust it. He also wants us to know that as Nuwapians, if we cannot bear the truth, then it is best that we not be Nuwapians. He gave me instructions many years ago. I've been a Nuwapian for a little over 10 years now. And his instructions to me in a letter was to feed the flock. I have been called an oracle for many years. I did not choose that name for myself. And I am still waiting for the Master Teacher to confer that title upon me before I thoroughly accept it. I'm a PK. I come from a Christian background. When I left the church, I was then led to a Fahami Temples of Isis El and Amun that was at one time located here in Oklahoma City. And I was initiated as an Egyptian priestess. One of my titles in that particular temple was Pa'ut, priestess. It was there in that temple, under the auspice of High Priest Anubis Ketla, that I was trained in astronomy, astrology, numerology, herbology, and a lot of whole other ologies. I eventually left the temple of Isis El and Amun and traveled to Africa and was initiated as a Yoruba priestess. As well as an Agungun priestess dealing with the ancestors. Upon my return back to the States, that is it, family. See how many you got correct, and notice the number, that particular number where you got it correct, and that particular number where you maybe second guessed yourself or doubted yourself. That number will also reveal some things to you at which point that you doubted yourself. We all come through the door of the exoteric sciences, but then at some point we must graduate to the esoteric sciences. The Master Teacher wrote a very small scroll on that, and I'm sure you all know that it is exoteric versus esoteric. Maybe you should revisit that small pamphlet. But at this time, it is time for as many of us as possible to become esoteric. Understanding and having overstanding behind and of the signs and the symbols and so much more. And the Master Teacher also said that if you want to know something about a particular thing, you must know everything about it numerically. Okay, family. Number your papers again, 1 to 25. And we're going to go a little faster. We're going to go a little faster so that you don't have the opportunity to second guess yourself. Okay? Are you ready? Here we go. And my name, as it Yiba Atumre, means the joyful soul of Atumre. And remember, the master teacher said we're going to have to get used to doing the math, working with the numbers. And periodically, I studied the periodic table of elements, looking at the numbers and the positions that the elements ascend and descend. They're a lineage of each other. Each one is a lineage. So we do well to study the periodic table of elements as well. I am familiar with doing aura readings. I worked in a metaphysical shop for over 13 years at one time. Where we had the Curlin photography camera that photographs the aura. The aura changes with each thought, with what we eat. This is the last card, family. Okay, do the same thing and see how well you did. And this is really relaxing and fun to do as a group, as a family. It's harmless, and it's only meant to open your third eye and get you in touch with trusting. I think it's more important that we learn to trust ourselves than it is anything else. That superhero, that subconscious, super subconscious self that never rests, that is always ready to help us, is waiting. All we need to do is listen and trust it. And that is a learning process. Let us learn to love each other even more and more as family. Let us learn to find out everything that we can about each other numerically. It would be a great thing to do, and you would be amazed at the things that are known about yourself through the numbers, as well as through the solar and lunar eclipses and those things. So willingly you enjoyed this, and maybe Zamal Nusuri Atun will share this with others who might be interested in opening up their third eye in a safe environment. And that environment is an environment of pure Ashuk. Okay, Yasar. Wadu.